Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bo. I got Noah here for Brigador, and it's gonna be a pretty dope game. But we're here in the office. It's like 12 o'clock at night. Everyone's sleeping in the house, but we're gonna do this anyway. So let's have fun. So it'll be a weird late night weekday game review interview in the house
after hours.
Ooh, well. If Noah was to use the left drawer over there, he'd find some toys. No, he wouldn't, actually. All right, so anyway, what we got going here is... so give me the lowdown. What's the game all about?
So Brigador is an isometric combat game. Vehicle, combat, mechs, tanks. If you want it, we've got it. And the entire game environment is destructible. So it's basically a giant Kool-Aid Man simulator where you just run through and just destroy your way through an entire city over the course of the game.
Oh, cool. So is it kind of like you could get your Mecha Godzilla kind of fantasies out of the way if you really wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, some of the biggest vehicles are not quite Godzilla scale, but they're getting up there where they've got these giant MIRV artillery launchers and you can just blow up an entire city block. I'll actually demo one of those in a bit. So yeah, there's just plenty to work with. And for people who want fast and light, we've got these fast hovercraft or little motorcycle units that you can also use as well. So there's a lot of variety that you can that you have to work with in playing the game.
Holy shit! Okay, was that an example of?
Yes, so that's what happens when you hit a gas main. So, like I said, everything in the game environment is destructible. Right now I'm going full ham on these tank destroyers. I have a camo ability. So every vehicle you can equip, you can pick two different weapons to put on it. Plus a defensive kit. So on this tutorial level, I've got a heavy mech cannon, a machine gun, and
a console. And
an active camo field, so I can stealth for a couple seconds at a time. So this is just this tutorial mission is just kind of getting acquainted with everything. But I'm going to jump from this into the fun stuff, which is we have a mission called Ride of the Groundskeeper, where you'll see.
Okay, it looks pretty good. It looks like Dawn of the Dead kind of shit.
You are a disgruntled groundskeeper on a golf course, and
nice.
You are making your way, having your vengeance on the members of that golf community. So this is going to be one of the early missions in Brigador. We try to have a sense of humor about some of this stuff. Yeah, we've got, in this particular mission, we're trying to demo that, vehicles that have high trample damage, the ability to just, Kool-Aid through stuff. This thing can just go straight through houses. And we're just showing, this is a playable unit in the free play mode of the game as well. So, everything that you get, everything that we demo in the single player story campaign is also usable in the free play mode as well, which is more just kind of instant action, long play. There's a lot of variety you can have there as well.
That's pretty sweet. And from what I'm looking at, lots of colors, lots of good stuff, and this could pretty much run on most rigs from what I'm guessing, because we're getting a solid 120 on this guy, no problem.
Yeah, we're shooting for a min spec of 2 gigs of memory. We wrote our own engine, so we are able to do a lot of optimization on it, and it's a sprite-based game, so we're able to be efficient about a lot of this stuff. But yeah, let me blow up some of these houses.
Blowing up houses seems pretty good. I know you can get kind of tunneled because you're just God, fuck that house.
I'm sure insurance will cover it. Yeah, so this is on the different story missions are what we're going to use to kind of teach the game to new players. And then for kind of longer form stuff, we have people who want to do more Binding of Isaac, where you have that procedural component to the game. We've got plenty of stuff where there's more customization that you can work with. I'm doing a very terrible job of playing my own game right now.
But you're doing a much better job than I would, because I look like I was falling over everything when I tried playing it earlier. So it's just better that I have a professional to help me out.
I like to give myself a little challenge with the speaking and playing at the same time, and to drop my hit point. I might have to cheat a little bit in a minute if things aren't going so hot. But anyway,
see, he is one of us. We cheat a lot on this channel. It's true. So what can people expect? Like, when are you guys projecting either early launch or any of that kind of thing?
So as of this week, we are announcing a June 2nd release date for Brigador. So we're in early access right now. Everything you see in this is currently playable and available if you get Brigador on early access. But totally fine if you want to wait until full release. We've got a bunch of new content coming in the pipe. And that's going to be coming out June 2nd. And yeah, plenty of more content to come with that.
Oh, sweet. So that should be pretty right down. Again, you guys can check into the link in the description below for a direct link to the Steam page, right? And then also do one for the website, so you guys can get a little bit more info on the game. And I don't know, it sounds like a great game you want to start playing if you're a little bit tipsy. You just came back, and I feel like a little bit of destruction would be right what I need.
Yeah, we've got, so for the shortest runs of the game, we've got it set up so that you can have a complete, you can do a complete level or a complete set in 5-10 minutes. Or if you want to do longer play sessions, we have it set up so that there's full runs of the game that you're looking at more like 1 to 2 hours. So there's plenty of variety with just like depending on how much time you've got, like short coffee break versus, full weekend warrior.
Yeah, so just to get on that point, right? So what's the difference? Like, why would I want to do like 30 minutes or 10 minutes versus 2 hours? What's the difference there?
So part of it is the difficulty escalation. So we've got it so that the longer you play, the harder the game gets, but we've got some modifiers for that, so you can even customize on that end. And it's also just sort of the challenge you want to set for yourself. So as I'm bulldozing all this stuff, there's a money counter at the top right of the screen that's going up. The money is what you use to unlock new vehicles, weapons, pilots, and the longer the mission, the longer the set of levels that you're doing, and the harder they are, the more money you're earning on those missions. So if you've got the long playthrough and you want to risk it for like one of these big hour-long runs, you're going to make a bunch of money and be able to unlock a significant amount of content in the game. But for people who don't have the time for that, you can still just do the short runs and still be able to get pretty much the full breadth of content in the game.
That's pretty sweet. So there's going to be how many maps or how many whatever at launch? I know you said procedural, but are there going to be kind of like more tutorials?
So the maps are all pre-authored. Right now we have 20 maps, and those are split between. There's going to be 20 missions that are like all story components story components that are entirely pre-scripted. I have a loud voice that carries well. So yeah. You and I do not do well in libraries.
No, we don't. That's the best part about being a fucking gamer is I don't need to be in a goddamn library, except for right now at 12:15 at night on a Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever the fuck it is now.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to bulldoze a suburban neighborhood, okay?
All right, I'm fucking happy you got it. But there you go. That's like a quick run, though, right?
Yeah. So that was one of the story missions. If we go back, so these are all different pilots who have stories and things that you can unlock. And then we have, so like that was the vehicle that I was just piloting, but we've got, just to cheat a little bit, and give me some money. Okay. So we've got like this big thing. The Corvids are sort of like Mad Max. They cobble together vehicles and tanks from scrap pieces. The Spacers are like really fancy high-tech space assholes who come and invade people. They're the worst, and also really fun to play as. We have mechs. We have hovercrafts. We've got this. I don't know what this is. Like a half-track technical.
As long as it's not a Nickelback, that would be okay.
So yeah, we have all these vehicles to work with. So in the freelance mode, you pick your pilot, pick your vehicle. Each vehicle has 2 gun mounts, so you can like switch between those, and a defensive ability. And then you can pick these different runs, and each run has its own set of missions that you can go through. So in this, the levels themselves are entirely pre-generated, but the enemies that you go up against and the order and all of that stuff is procedurally done. So there is, each time you do play the game, even with the same loadout, you're going to be playing a different run through each set of levels. So there's plenty of content that even if you're running like the same spec over and over again, you're going to be getting different gameplay.
That's pretty dope. That's good for replayability. And you said when we were talking earlier that there were potential for mods later on after you guys launch.
Absolutely. So what we are hoping, we all kind of were raised on modding Doom and StarCraft and some of these early games. And so one of the things we wanted to do in building Brigador is make it so that it's really, really easy for people to get into and to mod stuff. So for example, like this console that I've got in the game right now is going to ship with the game, and you can do, these are all the developer tools, and we're just going to leave all of them in so that you guys can mess with this stuff. So for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my mech, and I'm going to say I want to change my movement speed. So vehicle data, right now my forward speed is 13. I'm going to set this to 50. And now I can just fly. Obviously it's maybe a bit too high. I'm having a little trouble piloting this.
Sorry, my computer's too good.
But like all of this data is live editable in the game. So you're going to be able to create your own files and mix and match with vehicles and things. So like for another example, I'm going to take my gun, so this cannon, and I'm going to change its cooldown. This is 1.75 seconds. Let's change that to be a quarter of a second, and let's change it to have it shoot 50 projectiles instead of 15. So Jesus Christ.
Well, that's like the Contra spray gun right there.
So plenty of stuff for people to play with, and not only, I don't have it on this rig right now, but we have both, actually I'll hand you the trailer after this, but there's both fiddling with the game data, but we also are going to be releasing the map editor as well. It's super easy to use. If anyone who's done stuff for like StarCraft 1 levels, it's about that. I mean, it's as easy to use as that. So you can build these same kinds of levels really, really easily. It's very easy to work with, and we're going to be giving you all the same tools that we use to build almost the entirety of the game.
Sweet. And then there'll be like a hub or something people can exchange these on, or not yet?
So
Getting there.
It's one of those things where it's like right now all of our efforts are going to shipping the game, but what we would like to do is, especially if people are showing interest in this modding stuff, we'd like to either get it integrated on Steam Workshop or get some more formalized capacity for sharing this content, because the game engine is able to handle this sort of modular content very well. We just need to do a better job of distributing it once, if we find that like people are actually interested in this stuff.
Yeah, Steam Workshop seems pretty good. Yeah,
I love it. I played a lot of XCOM too. It's why this game's taking so long to ship.
Okay, totally understandable, because I know I also should be doing a lot of things, but yeah, there's been games in the way. So anyway, if you get to give me like let's wrap it up and see, what would you say would be like, why would someone want to play this game rather than XCOM 2? Because otherwise
well, I mean, yeah. You want to play Brigador if you want to be able to demolish the entirety of a city block. You have full customization on your vehicle and weapons, and to just have a good high intensity action game that's more sophisticated than something like Binding of Isaac or Nuclear Throne. And we've got this great 90s retro aesthetic that people really get into. So if it scratches that itch of like Desert Strike or Tiberian Sun for you guys, that's
Desert Strike. Saying my name right there. That's a fucking great game. Love that game. So good, guys. We'll check it out again in the description below. Check out the game. Look it up. It should be releasing in June 2nd. And I'm pretty sure I can manage to get a key or two. Huh? getting when we get closer to launch. So we'll do another follow-up video later as we get closer to launch, just to remind you guys. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. Again, thank you, Noah, for coming on over, especially to the Casa del Beau. I didn't really know we'd be making it over to the house tonight, but hey, no problem. So, yeah, well, mi casa, su casa. So, all right, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.